Government has assured Zimbabweans that there is enough HIV treatment available in the country amid vulnerability worries following cut in donor funding. The Minister of Health and Childcare, Dr. Douglas Mombeshera, urged Zimbabweans not to panic about shortages of antiretroviral treatment. Addressing journalists at a National AIDS Council workshop held in Chinhoyi, Dr. Mombeshera assured that there are enough ARVs to cover the country on a both long and short-term time frame.
Now familiar with the recent abrupt cut in funding by the government of the United States of America and its potential implications for the response to HIV and related diseases in our country. As government, we have already begun to put strategies in place to ensure that people are not vulnerable. Let me emphasize this. We have got enough stocks of antiretroviral drugs for all those who are on treatment and for all those new cases, and everyone is going to be covered. There is no need to panic. We have already procured more drugs, and by end of June, new drugs will be arriving in the country. So, Tariro, don't panic.
The minister also went on to address questions raised by journalists concerning the funding cuts in relation to ending HIV, including a $12 million allocation to import more drugs, as well as introducing a health insurance scheme funded at transaction basis.
We are not collectors of tax. We are beneficiaries of the tax that is collected. It's the responsibility of the Ministry of Finance. So it's the Ministry of Finance which is supposed to put in place ways of collecting money from the informal sector, not our ministry. But our ministry, what we are coming up with is the National Health Insurance Scheme. This National Health Insurance Scheme, we've made a proposal of how we collect money, because we agree with you that people are overburdened with various taxes and so on, and we don't want anyone to have money deducted from their payslip towards the national health insurance. But we want the national health insurance to cover every Zimbabwean citizen without paying a cent when you go to hospital. So what we have proposed is a point of transaction, collection of money. If you buy a loaf of bread, we say we want a cent from there. If you buy Coca-Cola, we want 2 cents. If you buy your packet of biscuits, we want 5 cents. If you buy alcohol, a liter.
Journalists were urged to serve as platforms to attract even more funding to the country through their work in a bid to intensify the fight against HIV amid the U.S. funding freeze.
You know, it's about the constituents of journalism. We say HIV is a multi-sectoral issue and it requires multi-sectoral responses. So we do acknowledge and appreciate that journalists have a role to play. And in this particular workshop, it's about highlighting the roles of the journalists. And one of them is what I did to challenge them about some of the things that are out there. They are not being covered anywhere. And if we take the comparative advantage of the journalists by writing or raising these serious issues, I think that is another angle through which we can raise very good noise about the HIV response. Specifically, let me give you one example. I spoke about the impacts of the American government withdrawal of the bilateral funding they were giving to Zimbabwe in aid for the HIV response, which is 43%. Now that has been taken. So we need to begin to mobilize resources from elsewhere to cover that gap. And it was only through the work of the journalists, if they highlight the critical issues that are there in the HIV response, that we can begin to attract other donors, either internationally or even within the country domestically.
Okay, your full name and your position.
Sony, Country Director for UNAIDS in Zimbabwe.
Thank you.
The fight against HIV and AIDS requires a collaborative effort, and the media plays a vital role in raising awareness and shaping public discourse, and through collective action, we can strive towards a future where HIV is no longer a public health threat. Chengete Chidi, HSTV News, Chinoi.